Welcome back. You are listening to the Holistic Hormone Podcast. I'm Eleanor Duelley, and I am back talking about hormones, of course, but I'm coming from a different perspective than maybe we've connected the dots on before. So I'm focusing on today what digestion has to do with estrogen and cortisol, because sometimes this gets overlooked when we're looking for supplements and we're looking for nutrition advice. There's certain things that need to be addressed before we can even get to how your hormones are being balanced. A lot of women feel like their hormones are all over the place. I have people come in here and just saying, my hormones are out of whack, things like that. They're experiencing mood swings, PMS, stress, fatigue. But they often don't really know what that means, because when they say my hormones are high or low, I often will say, well, which ones? And then they kind of look at me like I have no idea. So I think the word hormones gets a bad rap without really understanding the processes. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm a holistic hormone specialist, naturopathic doctor. So I really look at the processes in the body. Because when our hormones are imbalanced, it doesn't mean that our body is broken or it's just unlucky that our particular biology doesn't work, or it's abnormal, or it's over or under producing. More often than not, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's just reacting to some other stimulus, whether that's a toxin, whether that's something that is in the way of detoxing. And so today's focus is going to be about the nutrition or the nutrients that are actually needed for detoxing of hormones. It comes directly from having good digestion. So if you're somebody that has bloating, constipation, sluggish digestion, or just feeling like your food doesn't sit right, that could be the root cause of a lot of other symptoms that you might be experiencing. This is very common. Most women don't really believe or understand how these things are related, but as a naturopathic doctor, I can tell you all of these systems are related, and we're going to get into why next. You are listening to the Holistic Hormone Podcast, and I'm your host, Eleanor Duelley. I'm a naturopathic doctor and board-certified nutritionist. Here, you'll find a place to learn, feel listened to, and truly understand your body. I follow the foundations of naturopathy, and I work with your biology so you can see what's really going on and how to support it naturally. I will validate your experiences, explain the why behind your symptoms, and share ways to improve them without relying on medications. With almost 10 years of clinical practice, I've seen incredible changes when women combine knowledge with simple, natural tools, and my goal is to help you do the same. I am not a medical doctor, and this show is only for educational purposes. I do not treat, I do not diagnose, and I do not prescribe, but I do believe that your body is designed to work beautifully when given the right support. Well, now it's time to get started with today's topic. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We often think that hormone imbalance is because our body is different or abnormal, or it's making too much, or you've been told, whether from a medical doctor, that you have a specific diagnosis and this is just the way that it's going to be for you. Anything like that. The reality is that most of the time, it's not that your body is doing something wrong. It's that your body is processing and clearing out in a challenged way, or it's just not efficient in doing that. And when that happens, things get backed up, and that's the backup is what we experience the symptoms of. Okay, so we're going to focus on digestion because it's not always just about the food. I have people that come in here. My background is nutrition. For those of you that don't know me, I've got my master's in integrative nutrition. And so studying how the body uses nutrition is a lot different than looking at someone's food log, because I've had people that have had perfect diets, quote unquote, on paper. They're eating the right amount of fats and macros and micronutrients, and they're drinking the perfect amount of water. And so when we look at the blood work, I say, even though your diet is very diverse in all the fruits and vegetables, all the probiotic foods, the proteins, the blood work is telling me that you're not absorbing these nutrients because you are actually nutrient deficient, even though you are eating them. Okay, so we're not going to blame the supplements and the food. We're not going to blame you. We're going to look at the digestive process. Is your body able to break down the food properly and absorb it? Because if those two things aren't happening, then I'm sorry, there's not really anything else that you could physically do to change the way that your body uses nutrients. So we're going to start with estrogen because estrogen has a shelf life. We often don't think of what our body makes as potentially expiring and needing to get out of the body quickly. But estrogen is one of those things. Once it does the job it was designed to do, it needs to get out. Because if it doesn't, estrogen can be very damaging. So let's talk about that. Okay, so estrogen's life cycle. Most of your estrogen is made in your ovaries. Obviously not all of it, because some women get their ovaries taken out. Some people, men make estrogen, and also menopausal women make estrogen. So it is not an only ovary thing. But for menstruating women, the majority of estrogen is made by the ovaries in order to fertilize and grow a fertilized egg. That's the main reason it's not the only reason, but it's the main reason our ovaries make so much estrogen every month. Okay. It's used by the cells for growth, for mood, for sexual health, for skin, for bones, and of course we know for fertility. Okay. But after estrogen is used for one of those things, it has to be basically boxed up, packaged up, detoxed, and excreted out of the body. If each of those things does not happen, it will linger in the body and become inflammatory and toxic and harmful to our cells. Okay, so I'm going to simplify the phases of detox here because it's not the focus of this podcast, but detox happen. There's 3 phases. The first one happens in the liver. It's where, and I'm talking specifically about estrogen in this particular case. Obviously, there's many other things that are detoxed, but estrogen is the one we're talking about. So for phase 1, estrogen is broken down into small metabolites or baby pieces of estrogen. If you think about blobs of estrogen, big blobs of estrogen being broken down into smaller blobs, okay? Because smaller blobs are less harmful. So it makes sense that we're not going to have this big harmful blob. We need smaller ones because we have to kind of break them down. Okay, phase 2 is called methylation. If you've worked with me one-on-one, you know about methylation. This is the number one thing that I repeat day in, day out to every single woman that walks in here, because we're never really told what methylation is. This is phase 2 of liver detox, amongst other things, methylation, sulfation, glucuronidation, but we're just focusing on methylation because this specific process breaks down estrogen even further so that it can be excreted in phase 3. But in order for phase 2 or methylation to happen, the requirement for the chemical reaction to happen are B vitamins, magnesium, sulfur compounds, amino acids, and methyl. Okay? Now, do you have to know all of these chemistry components? No, not really. Because there's certain supplements and there's certain combinations of things that we can just do in our daily life that will support phase 2 or methylation. But for the most part, women don't know that this is needed or a requirement. And so it's not happening for them. They're either not getting these B vitamins that they need through their food. They don't know that they're taking them, or maybe they are taking a methylated B vitamin. I have a lot of women come in here and they say, I'm taking my Bs. But when I look at the blood work, I see that those nutrient levels are actually low. So it doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It means that the body is not capable at that time to break it down and absorb it to be used for these systems. That's the missing piece when we are told we're low in something, we go buy it and we put it in our body. Our job is not done. That's the part that we don't investigate further. We assume that our job is done when we buy it and take it. I've done my job. Okay. And this is where I'm trying to highlight that you might need more support. Okay. So then there's phase 3, which happens in the gut. Okay. So mostly small to large intestine is where our nutrients are being absorbed or put where they're supposed to go, whether that's in the bloodstream, whether that's onto the large intestine to make poop so it can be excreted out the body. Just like estrogen, it gets methylated and then it gets put in our stool. It gets, with the help of bile and fiber, it gets moved through the large intestine and out of our body. That's the system, okay? It's a little complicated, but if we understand the 3 steps and we understand which step is not happening, obviously if you're constipated, you're not pooping out estrogen. It's not getting out of your body. It's getting reabsorbed into the gut, causing toxic reactions, okay? Constipation, obviously, that's what that is, okay? Dysbiosis, meaning bad bacteria. I don't like the word bad bacteria because all bacteria has a purpose, but there is bacteria that can be particularly more harmful than other bacteria. We have to look at how that is affecting getting estrogen out of the body. Sluggish bile, if anybody has gallbladder issues or doesn't have a gallbladder, has had gallstones or been told that their bile is sluggish, that means that the movement of estrogen is a lot less for you. Okay? It's not a death sentence. It just means if we know that piece of information, we can focus on making sure that your bile moves efficiently, and by a byproduct, estrogen will be getting out of the body. Okay? The other thing, of course, is poor nutrient intake. If we're not getting those B vitamins in, we're not supplementing, then those processes cannot happen. It would be like if I asked you to bake me a cake and I didn't give you an oven and I gave you a box of flour and an egg, right? What kind of cake are you possibly going to be able to make with that? Not a very good one. You could still try, but the output is not going to be what the expectation is. So we have to look at the processes, what is required by the processes to be effective, okay? So consequences of poor clearance, meaning poor detox. So this is what happens when we don't effectively detox from estrogen. Something called estrogen dominance. You might have heard this from your OB or your TikTok people. I don't really like the term because it makes it seem like estrogen's the bad guy. Estrogen is dominating, right? What it means is the estrogen is in abundance naturally on purpose, but getting rid of it is becoming an issue. So estrogen detox issues look like PMS. So rather than understanding why these symptoms persist every month between ovulation and menstruation, the community of medical practitioners decided to make it a syndrome and tell women that that's what they can expect. I don't do that. I don't buy it. And I don't think it's a great way to even label what's going on. So PMS, if you get cramps, if you get headaches, tender breasts, heavy bleeding, fibroids, cysts, migraines, can't sleep, too hot, diarrhea, all of these sort of imbalances before your menstruation comes, it is an estrogen detox issue. Okay? Another thing that estrogen can cause This is the toxic estrogen after it's been used. The lack of detox of estrogen is insulin resistant. It can actually make insulin, which is what is responsible for getting glucose or energy into your cell and the creation of body fat. It can make insulin less effective. Estrogen is a tricky hormone. Fat storage, it can make more body fat for you if the detoxing of estrogen and the making of additional estrogen is imbalanced. So for a woman experiencing menopause, when the ovaries start to retire and not make as much estrogen because you're not ovulating as much or as often as we naturally transition to a state of pausing or ceasing from menstruating and ovulating, the body has to find estrogen because you need it. As a woman, you need estrogen for heart health, for brain health, for breast health, for sexual health. So we need estrogen, and if the body really needs it, and those ovaries, which were the main source, they go offline. They kind of retire like a school teacher that has worked for 30 years. They're not coming in anymore. The body has to find ways to make estrogen. And if it doesn't use your adrenals, it's going to create body fat, especially in the belly area. Because body fat, believe it or not, can be an endless source of creating extra estrogen, which is what you need, right? Your body is compensating and making what you need. We just don't like the way that they're doing it, right? We don't want the body to make body fat in order to meet our hormone need. We want the burden of too much estrogen we want that burden gone, the detoxing of estrogen, but we want our adrenals to be able to pick up the slack when our ovaries retire. And most of the time the adrenals are overloaded because there's too much toxicity in the body. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more about this when we get to cortisol. Okay. Inflammation in the joints, breast tissue, uterine tissue, heavy bleeding, a lot of women experience. So if they come in with symptoms like this and they've had them for years and years, or things change when we have a baby, or later cycles in life, our body adapts and adjusts. But methylation never changes. We always need it, regardless of what stage of life we're in, which is why my daughter also have her methylating. I have her having healthy cycles and the process of using estrogen and detoxing from estrogen at all ages. This is important. Okay, timing matters when we're talking about detoxing from estrogen, because you have an overabundance of estrogen that needs to leave the body post-ovulation. If that ovulation window closes, that egg is no longer viable, then that's the time we need to dump that estrogen, right then, because we don't need it. But most women cannot dump it at that time. They're not methylating well, okay? So the key takeaway from this estrogen conversation is that your hormones are not broken. They're not off. They're not bad. They're not good. They're not non-existent. I've had people say, I have no hormones left. It's not true. It's that estrogen, while extremely important, can turn toxic and can become the issue. So we need to make sure that we're digesting our food and getting the nutrients needed for our body to be able to make estrogen and to detox from estrogen, because we need it to get out of the body. Here's a little example. If you think of estrogen like your household trash, okay? It's useful when it's in the right place, right? We have food packaging boxes, and we want things to be tidy, but it's not meant to sit around forever. Your liver is like the person in your house responsible for getting all of the different trash cans emptied. Okay, your bile and digestion are the garbage truck. But if the truck doesn't come on schedule, right, the trash bags just sit. And after a while, there'll be smells, it'll attract pests, it'll become a problem in the house if that trash cannot be removed from the house. Okay, it gets reabsorbed, like maybe it gets put away because we know it's not leaving the house. We want it out of the hallway. So anyway, we have to get this estrogen out of the body. So the goal isn't to stop making estrogen. Certainly not. Certainly not. We love our estrogen. It's to make sure that the garbage system of estrogen removal is functioning, and it cannot function unless we have the right ingredients, and the ingredients come from proper digestion. Okay? All right. Let's talk about how we can support estrogen detox. What are some things you can do day to day to improve methylation? Okay. We're going to support liver clearance. We're going to make sure the pathways are open. Daily bowel movements are essential. So if constipation is an issue for you, then we know estrogen's not being removed, like period, end of story. So getting your bowels moving is a non-negotiable when we're talking about estrogen detox. So are you hydrating? Are you eating enough soluble fiber to get things moving? Helping your digestion will stimulate bile. Bile is what is going to move waste out of the body. It helps facilitate grabbing toxins and moving it through the system. You can increase bile movement by eating bitter foods. Dandelion greens, arugula, radishes, artichokes, those will all stimulate the movement of bile. Also, cruciferous vegetables, so your broccolis, your Brussels sprouts, your cauliflower, that's going to help with sulfation, or phase 2 of the liver detox. Okay, so those are some things in your diet that you can do. We're going to reduce the demand of estrogen in the body. So what I mean by that is there's things called xenoestrogens that mimic estrogen. They're actual chemicals that your body mistakes as actual estrogen, and these are absorbed through plastics, fragrances, chemicals like pesticides, hand sanitizers sometimes have these kinds of chemicals in. So by avoiding those in your day-to-day, what we're doing is reducing the interference with actual estrogen. Because if you think about it, if a xenoestrogen takes the spot that a proper estrogen is needed, the actual estrogen that was made in the body for that spot is now extra. And not only is the xenoestrogen in the wrong place matched up doing the wrong thing, we also have an extra abundance of estrogen. So you can see how removing xenoestrogens or plastics from the body and from our environment is going to allow the estrogen receptor and the estrogen to successfully meet up together. Okay, so avoiding the absorption of plastics is key, and also detoxing from them. So using binders, I offer these in my practice to remove metals, heavy metals, to remove plastics, to remove chemicals that we just naturally come in contact with in everyday life. We just do. Mostly everything we touch is plastic or metal. So we do have to reduce what's in our environment, but we also have to detox from it as well. We need to replete our nutrients, so we need to fuel the detox pathways with our B vitamins, our magnesium, our zinc, selenium. Now, I don't want you to go out and get all of these supplements and then you have a whole cabinet full of zinc and magnesium, and I got to take my vitamin C, and I have women that come in here with laundry lists of supplements because we think we need them. Well, get somebody who understands how these work together, the priority of them, and how they get absorbed into the body and when. Because if we can strategically streamline all of these nutrients and hopefully get them through your food, because bioavailability is the key. It's the most important way to get nutrients, which bioavailability means through your food, right? They didn't have supplements like 100 years ago. So these deficiencies that are being solved by supplements are not caused because there were not supplements. it's caused because there's an imbalance in the system. There's an imbalance in absorption from food. And I, as a naturopathic doctor, am trying to move you closer to getting your body to do this naturally. Okay, so that's my whole goal. My whole goal is not to give you a million supplements for the rest of your life. My whole goal is to get you absorbing the nutrients from your food so you don't need as many supplements, and that you're getting what you need to meet the demand. Okay. If you think of estrogen like a library book, you borrow the books, they're useful, but they do have a due date, right? If you return them on time, like you daily detox, your systems are working well, then you don't have a problem. But if they stay too long, they get overdue, then the fees pile up and it causes problems. So detox is how you get rid and recycle estrogen. Recycle meaning get out of the body, and we will make more next time. So that is the first part of this series in estrogen and how digestion affects estrogen and why it's not really estrogen's fault. It's the nutrients that are needed to properly detox estrogen and those detox pathways becoming backed up. So we're going to continue this series next time when I talk about cortisol and cortisol clearance, because if we're not properly detoxing from cortisol, we're also going to have a hormonal imbalance. So I hope that understanding your body a little bit more and about getting rid of estrogen is starting to make sense to you, because it is a lot of the reason why women are having hormone issues. And you want to use quotes with hormone issues, because if you don't know exactly why you're saying that or what specific hormones are the problem, then we're kind of just generalizing it's a hormone problem. And I don't mind, because I'm a holistic hormone specialist. If people come in here, then I can dig and ask questions. So if you need somebody to talk to about this and kind of sort out, is it estrogen? Is it estrogen detox? Why do I have low estrogen, but I have all of these estrogen symptoms? We can help sort through your specific case. This is what I do on a daily basis. I look at blood work, I look at hormone testing, and I look at the foundations of detox. Because I guarantee you, if those aren't happening efficiently, then you are experiencing symptoms because of it. So catch me back in the next episode when we talk about cortisol, and I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you for listening to the Holistic Hormone Podcast. My goal is to give you a place where you can learn, feel heard, and understand your body in a way that empowers you to take action. If today's episode gave you a new perspective or something to think about, I'd love for you to share it with another woman who might need it. And if you're ready to explore your own health more deeply, you can learn more about my programs, resources, and upcoming events at eleanorduelley.com. Just a reminder, I am not a medical doctor. This podcast is for educational purposes only. I do not treat, diagnose, or prescribe, but I believe your body is designed to work beautifully when it has the right support. Until next time, thank you for joining me, and remember, your body was made to thrive.